You think you know the story, a 44-year-old trailblazer, a Hollywood actress turned Duchess, a mother and a philanthropist. But what if I told you the woman staring back at you from magazine covers is actually 60 years old? The math doesn't add up. The timelines are broken. And according to a firestorm of new allegations, the entire foundation of Meghan Markle's life might be a carefully constructed mirage. We aren't just talking about a few gray hairs dyed away. We are talking about an 8-year gap that changes absolutely everything about who she is, how she met Harry, and the fortune she spends to keep the mask from slipping. Today we are tearing down the facade, the Samantha bombshell. It started with a whisper, but now it's a scream. Samantha Markle, Meghan's estranged half-sister, has stopped holding back. In a raw, no-holds-barred interview, she dropped a figure that sent shockwaves through social media 60. Samantha insists that Meghan was born not in 1981, as her Wikipedia page claims, but as far back as 1965. This isn't just a petty family feud. It's a direct assault on the pillars of Meghan's identity. Samantha characterizes the current narrative as a fake facade, funded by millions of dollars designed to trick the world and perhaps the royal family itself into believing a fabrication. The accusations go deeper than just a number on a driver's license. Sources close to the family suggest these aren't new revelations, but secrets that have simmered in private circles for decades. The claim is that birthdays, milestones, and life events were shifted to curate a specific image of youthful ambition. But when you start pulling at the loose threads of this timeline, the sweater doesn't just unravel, it completely falls apart. And the first place the story breaks is the one place where record-keeping is supposed to be ironclad: her university years. The impossible college timeline. Let's look at the arithmetic, because numbers rarely lie, even if people do. Meghan's official narrative places her at Northwestern University, following a standard timeline for someone born in 1981. She allegedly graduated in 2003. But here is where the logic hits a brick wall. Meghan herself has bragged about specific internships and study abroad programs that simply do not fit into that 4-year window. She claims she interned at the U.S. Embassy in Buenos Aires around her 21st birthday. If she was born in 1981, that puts her in Argentina in 2002. However, looking at the university's academic calendar, doing that internship would have required her to take time off right after the winter quarter of her junior year. Immediately following that, she claims she spent a full semester abroad in Madrid. Any college student knows that missing that much on-campus time requires a miracle to graduate on schedule. You need precise credit transfers, summer school, and 0 slip-ups. Yet there is no record of her making up this time. Instead, by June 2003, she was already living in Los Angeles, reportedly in a relationship with a comedy writer. If she was finishing her degree, she should have been in Evanston cramming for finals. The overlap is physically impossible unless she was either older than she claimed or the degree itself wasn't what it seemed. The degree deception. Speaking of the degree, that's another pillar that is starting to crack. For years, the story has been that Meghan was a beauty with brains, boasting a prestigious double major in theater and international relations. It sounds impressive, the perfect background for a global diplomat duchess. But when you look at the commencement program from 2003, that is not what is printed next to her name. The program lists Rachel Meghan Markle solely under communications. In the harsh light of academic scrutiny, a communications degree carries a very different weight than the rigorous international relations program she claims. In online forums, alumni from that era have been ruthless, describing communications as the rocks for jocks major, a path often taken by those looking to coast through college to focus on social climbing rather than academics. The university confirms there was no double major. The international relations expert persona appears to be a total fabrication. It raises a disturbing question: if she is willing to lie about her education to seem more impressive, what else is being embellished? The eyelash glue incident and campus chaos. The academic discrepancies are just the tip of the iceberg. Digging deeper into forum whispers and alumni gossip, a darker picture of Meghan's time on campus emerges, one marked by chaos and near expulsions. One persistent rumor that refuses to die involves the infamous eyelash glue incident. While details remain murky, insiders suggest this was a prank gone wrong, a moment of malice that allegedly put her on the brink of being kicked out of the university. Whether or not the expulsion threat was real, the story aligns with a reputation for being a troublemaker rather than a scholar. It paints a portrait of a young woman who was less focused on her studies and more focused on dominance and attention. It suggests that the grace we see today is a learned behavior a costume put on to hide a history of immature and potentially vindictive antics. The soulless student. If you want the truth about someone, don't ask their PR team. Ask the people who knew them before they were famous. Former classmates have painted a picture of a woman who was less modern grace and more mean girl. One particularly damning story that has surfaced involves Meghan approaching a complete stranger, a young girl drinking a Diet Coke, and launching into a tirade. She allegedly called the girl soulless for putting chemicals and caffeine into her body, unleashing a word salad of judgment about ethics and health. This wasn't just a health kick, it was a power play. Witnesses describe a holier-than-thou attitude, a vocal fry dripping with pretension, and a desperate need to appear superior to everyone in the room. This anecdote is fascinating because it sounds exactly like the Meghan we hear today, using buzzwords and moral superiority to lecture others. It seems the word salad speeches didn't start in the royal family. They were perfected in the sorority houses of Northwestern, the strategic intimacy allegations. But the rumors get darker. Hushed tones among alumni speak of a woman who was calculated with her intimacy. Terms like pillow princess and sleeping her way up have followed her from the dorm rooms of Northwestern to the hills of Hollywood. The consensus among those who claim to know her is that she viewed relationships not as emotional bonds, but as transactional ladders. She was described as weird and disconnected, someone who used sarcasm to mask deep-seated insecurities. The allegation is that she navigated social circles with calculated physical entanglements, using men to bridge the gap between her reality and the status she craved. It wasn't the behavior of a future royal, it was the behavior of someone frantically trying to rewrite their own reality. And speaking of rewriting reality, let's talk about the face that launched 1,000 headlines. The billion-dollar facade. Samantha Markle didn't just attack the age, she attacked the face. She called it a fake facade maintained by endless plastic surgery miracles. And experts tend to agree. If Meghan is truly 60, she looks incredible, but not because of good genes and yoga. Insiders allege that her youthful glow is the result of a relentless, high-priced maintenance schedule that rivals the GDP of a small nation. We aren't just talking about a little Botox here and there. Beverly Hills surgeons have speculated that her fresh look is likely the result of an upper blepharoplasty eyelid surgery that removes sagging skin to brighten the eyes. Then, there are the rumors of neck lifts evident in recent Paris appearances, where her profile looked unnaturally sharp for a woman of any age, let alone one potentially in her 50s. There's talk of cheek fillers, a refined nose tip, and a regimen designed to freeze time. This isn't vanity, it's business. In Hollywood, and certainly in the royal family, youth is currency. If she looked her alleged real age of 60, the fairy tale of the young modern bride might have collapsed before it even began. The Hollywood hustle. A career recontextualized. If we accept the premise that Meghan is 60, her entire Hollywood struggle takes on a completely different meaning. The official story is that she landed her role on General Hospital in her early 20s, a young up-and-comer getting her big break. But if she was born in 1965, that break didn't happen until she was nearly 30. This reframes her narrative from a young talent to an aging struggler in an industry that is notoriously cruel to women over 25. It suggests that her time as a suitcase girl on Deal or No Deal wasn't a fun college job, but a desperate move by a woman in her mid-30s clinging to the fringes of fame. This context explains the urgency, the hustle, and the eventual calculated leap to the UK. She wasn't a rising star with endless time, she was against the clock, and she knew it. The royal deception. This brings us to the ultimate why. Why go to such extreme lengths to hide 8 years? Why risk the exposure? The answer lies in the target, Prince Harry. Harry was born in 1984. If Meghan is truly 60, she would be nearly a decade older than him, a significant generational gap that changes the dynamic of their relationship entirely. Sources suggest that Harry was looking for a peer, a partner to grow with, not a matriarch figure. By shaving off those years, Meghan wasn't just flattering herself, she was aligning herself with Harry's timeline. She curated a version of herself that fit the mold of what the prince needed. It suggests a level of strategy that is almost Machiavellian. An older Meghan might not have landed the royal deal. An older Meghan implies a past that is longer, messier, and harder to hide. If Samantha's claims are true, the marriage was built on a foundation of omission. And now that the cracks are showing, the silence from their Montecito mansion is deafening. But there is one entity that has remained even more silent than Meghan herself: the institutional silence and the missing certificate. You would think a prestigious university like Northwestern would be eager to clear this up. They could simply release a transcript, confirm the dates, and end the rumors. But they haven't. The university's archives remain frustratingly shallow. While they have posted glowing features about their royal alumna, they have never released the hard data to back up the timeline discrepancies. This silence has fueled theories that the university might be protecting its reputation. Did they bend the rules for a well-connected student? Did her father's industry ties help her secure a diploma she didn't fully earn? But the most damning missing document isn't a diploma. It's the birth certificate. Sources claim that family records, including birth certificates, may have been altered for privacy, hiding the original, long-form document that would settle this debate instantly. Critics argue that institutions often prioritize wealthy or famous alumni over transparency. It's a wall of silence that eerily mirrors the royal family's own "never complain, never explain" motto. The legal reckoning. We are looking at a narrative that is hanging by a thread. If Samantha Markle is right, if Meghan is 60, if the degree is a sham, and if the face is a surgical construct, then the woman the world thinks they know doesn't exist. She is a character played by an actress. The implications are catastrophic. It threatens the legitimacy of her royal status, the trust of the public, and potentially the legal standing of her business deals. Sources hint that this battle is moving from the court of public opinion to actual courts. There are whispers of demands for DNA-verified age testing and the unsealing of unaltered records. As evidence mounts and the polished narrative fractures, the clock is ticking. You can change your face and you can edit your Wikipedia page, but you cannot outrun the truth forever. The math is simple, and right now it just doesn't add up.